to see the leftists sacrifice the poor to their idiot planetary concerns is an absolute bloody nightmare as far as I'm concerned. So the rest of the world seems hell-bent on copying, let's say, Germany, which has had the most catastrophic energy and environment policies that you could possibly produce, short of shutting down the entire grid, not least because their energy prices are now 5 times what they should be. They shut down their nuclear plants. Their energy provision is now unreliable. They are dependent on Russia and other totalitarian states for their energy provision. Energy is so expensive that electric car manufacturers are moving from Germany to China. Germany is deindustrializing because the energy prices are too high. Plus, and this is the kicker, they're actually polluting more per kilowatt than they were 15 years ago, because since they've shut down their reasonable sources of electricity, including nuclear, which they import anyways from France, they're now turning to burning lignite, for God's sake, which is the dirtiest form of coal.
Germany has, more than any other country in Europe, has driven itself into the ditch. They did it to themselves, and they're patting themselves on the back. I mean, none of it makes any sense.
It's the response seems to be, well, we didn't do stupid things fast enough.
I like that. So let's hurry up. Let's drive ourselves faster into the ditch. But yeah, I mean, the coup de grace was them shutting down their last nuclear plants when they knew they were short natural gas. They knew they were no longer going to be able to import as much gas from Russia. So what did they do? They went into the global LNG market, and they snapped up as many LNG cargoes and future contracts as they could. And in doing so, what did they do? Well, not only are they burning more lignite, more coal, to your point, but they also priced out a lot of developing countries from importing liquefied natural gas. Principally among them Pakistan, which is remarkable because Pakistan in February announced, we're done with the LNG business. We're going to burn coal, and so the Pakistanis are now saying we're going to expand our coal-fired capacity. So it's not just that this is affecting Germany; it's having knock-on effects in the developing world.
Well, and the German chancellor came over to visit our idiot country, and he asked Trudeau if there was any possibility of increasing liquid natural gas imports from Canada. And of course, Trudeau has done everything he can for the last 10 years to absolutely devastate the Canadian oil and gas industry and to make the export of liquid natural gas impossible. And so Trudeau said, well, we can't make a business case for that, which is exactly the same bloody thing that he said when the Japanese leader came and asked for the same thing. And the reason that he can't make a business case for it is because his government has produced policies that have made the export of Canadian fossil fuel resources, which are among the cleanest in the world, impossible. And so I really don't understand how the hell this can be happening in Germany. I mean, I'm not a cynic, although, whatever naive optimism I had about the political process has certainly been disabused. But everything that is happening in Germany is so stupid on the energy front that it's a kind of miracle, especially because, you could give the damn devils their due if they were able to say, well, we made electricity 5 times as expensive, but we've cut emissions by a certain proportion, and here's the net environmental benefit. All of which I think is complete BS, by the way. But if they could say that, well, that would be something. But for them to also have to say, oh, well, we've made electricity 5 times more expensive and unreliable, plus we pollute more. It's like there's zero victory. That's F-, man. You guys failed on every bloody front, including the ones you set up as your own principles, and yet nothing seems to happen. And as you said, Biden can come out and flourish his agreement with Angola to produce a kind of electricity they don't need at a tremendously elevated price, while engaging in this neo-colonial enterprise. Like, I can't believe we can be this stupid. I can't understand how this could happen.
So obviously Germany is this classic example of what not to do. What's remarkable is what's happening here in the United States, where California is following this example straight into the ditch. And more than any other state in the U.S., California has emulated these policies of mandating renewables, of shutting down baseload power plants. They shut down the San Onofre nuclear plant a few years ago. They almost succeeded in closing Diablo Canyon. That was Newsom made, I think finally sobered up and said, no, we need this plant. For forget that it's nuclear. It's 9% of our electric generation production in California. But look at what has happened. It's a similar story, Jordan. For all of the effort and all the money that the California has spent, they've seen no reduction in their overall emissions from their electric generation sector. Further, they have seen their electric prices rise faster than any other state in the United States. Since 2008, and I've written about this on my Substack, Schwarzenegger signed a renewable energy mandate in 2008. Since then, California's electric rates had gone up at a rate 3 times faster than that of the average in the United States. It's unconscionable what they're doing, Jordan. And this is in a state that is dominated by the Democratic Party, the liberals who say they care about the poor and the middle class. And yet this is what, as my late brother John Bryce said, just grills my cheese. I mean, it's ruinously regressive. California has the highest poverty rate in America, Jordan, and yet they are sticking it to the poor and the middle class in a big way. And where the peak electric rates in California now, 40, 50 cents a kilowatt hour. I mean, this is fine if you live in a nice house that's on San Francisco Bay, but the low-income people don't live there. They can't afford to live there. They live inland where they have to use air conditioning. So all of this climate, I have to say it very clearly, nearly all of this climate policy, whether it's mandates for electric cars or the renewable mandates, rooftop solar,